Hello, everyone. So I hope everyone is well, and I think some of you might be returning back to office next week when phase 1 allows for reopening of businesses. So I hope that most of you have been briefed about all the safe management measures that has been implemented at your workplace. Safety is the top priority, so please remember that. So of course, we know that some of the businesses will not be able to reopen on phase 1, and therefore the government has also recently announced a fourth budget known as the Fortitude Budget to support such businesses. So the key to the Fortitude Budget is really surrounding jobs, whether is it to retain them or to recreate or to create new ones. So that's why if you listen to the budget, DPM Heng Keat has also underlined the importance of business transformation through digitization, as well as upskilling and reskilling measures so that we can help all the employees to learn new skills and everyone can emerge from this pandemic to the new normal and be able to function normally. So today I'll run through some of these details in the budget. So firstly, it's on the job support scheme, which I believe most of you are already very familiar with. So there's three enhancements to the JSS. Firstly, the extension of it to cover wages paid in August 2020. Second, firms that are not allowed to resume operations will continue to receive wage support at 75% until August, or when allowed to reopen, whichever is earlier. And lastly, there is also an increased support for some affected sectors from 25% to 50 or 75%. And the change is applied retrospectively to previous payouts, and employers can expect to receive the top-up by July. Do note that, however, if you're in the built environment sector, you will only receive higher tier of support for June to August 2020 wages. And that is because this is the only sector that is still receiving demands, and therefore they are only receiving a higher tier of support for this period. And do also note that the government has updated the list of sectors supported in each tier, which you can find in the link here. And if you feel that you are eligible for a different tier of support, similarly in the same link, you would be able to see different forms applicable for different industries where you can fill up and submit an appeal for the particular tier of support. So these are reminders. So on the JSS, wages paid to business owners or employers trading in their own personal capacity, you will not be eligible for this payout. And for shareholders, directors, the wage support is only applicable for local shareholders, directors, for their companies that is registered on or before 20th April 2020. And they are only eligible if their accessible income for YA 2019 equates 100,000 or less. And this includes the back payment for qualifying shareholder directors who were excluded previously. Again, this table shouldn't be anything new to all of you now. This is just an overview of what are the changes in this current budgets. And similarly, if you were to go into the IRA's webpage, you would be able to see some examples of how the JSS payout is being computed. So really, it basically gives you a broad overview of what is happening since April all the way to now. And again, this is really to emphasize to everyone of the importance for employers not to panic during this period and try their best to retain their employees. Next, on rental relief for SMEs. So we already know that there is the property tax rebate that's given before, so I will not elaborate on that. In the Fortitude budget, the government has announced a cash grant that will be calculated based on the annual values of properties. And a cash grant of approximately 0.8 months of rent will be given to qualifying commercial properties and a cash grant of 0.64, approximately 0.64% months of rent will be given to other non-residential properties. So all these are automatically disbursed to owners from end July onwards, and landlords are required to pass on the benefit to the SME tenants. And for this particular cash grant, if you are an SME property owner who runs a trade or business on your own property, you will be eligible for this new cash grant. And and when it comes to vacant property and land under development, these are not eligible. Do note also that for property owners whose properties are only partially let out, or when you let it out, you let it out to both SME and non-SME tenants, you will not qualify automatically for this cash grant. But all you need to do is to submit an application form together with all your necessary supporting documents to IRAS in order for them to grant you this relief. Next, this is on public property. So again, I'm not going to elaborate too much on this one. This is really the government giving additional months of rental waiver. The only thing to take note is that these rental waivers do not apply to any rented premises or a part of any rented premises used for residential properties. They also do not apply to tenants who pay property tax. If you pay property tax, then you'll be receiving the cash grant instead. And another thing to note for this is that the Ministry of Law will pass a bill sometime in June next month to mandate that the landlords will have to push down any of the rental waivers to their the SMEs. So when we have more information on that, maybe we can then share that with everyone. Other support includes foreign worker levy that has been extended by up to 2 months for businesses, and also the planned increase in CPF contribution rates for senior workers will now be deferred by 1 year to 1st January 2022. So these are all basically some form of cash support for businesses. Then we move on now to some of the digital transformation that DPM Heng Keat has been talking about. So for support on digital transformation, the government agencies will prioritize the deployment of the SGQR for contactless payments in the next phase for store owners like in the coffee shops or in hawker centers to encourage them to adopt an e-payment solution. So what will happen is that a bonus of up to 1,500 given over a period of 5 months will be given to encourage them to adopt this e-payment solution. Of course, the bonus is contingent on sustained use of these e-payment solution with a minimum number of e-payment transactions per month. And the government will also bear the transaction fees until 31st December 2023. More details will be available at a later date, and if we have, once we have those information, we can share that with everyone again. There is also the digital resilience bonus that is announced, and this aims to provide additional support to enterprises who wants to uplift their digital capabilities. And this is a pilot program for the food services and retail sector. So if such enterprise adopt predefined categories of digital solutions, they can look to receive bonus payouts of up to 10,000 to offset the cost of adoption. So if you look at the table here, it's quite easy to understand. So basically, if you are a business, you take up the baseline category 1 and category 2 as together as a digital solution, then you would be receiving up to 5,000 of bonus payouts to offset your cost of adoption. So of course, if you add on with category 3, that's when you receive the maximum of $10,000. Again, more details on the qualifying conditions will be announced at a later date. So I just want to remind everyone again about some of the grants that is available on the Enterprise Singapore platform. So for example, like the Productivity Solution Grant, as well as the Enterprise Development Grant on Enterprise Singapore platform. These are all grants that are that aims to help enterprise adopt digitization. So what they do is they basically provide grants of up to 80%, and in some cases where you are in in a severely affected sector, when you speak to them, tell them about your scenario, they might even be able to give you a maximum grant of 90%. So these are all available again on the Enterprise Singapore platform. So do go in and have a look if you have plans to take up digital solutions. So this is a little bit to share a little bit about what the government is also doing for charities as well as social service agencies. So if you're in this sector, you'll be happy to know that there is a top up of $18 million to the Invictus Fund, and also under the TB enhanced fundraising program, they currently offer 40% matching on donations raised by charities, capped at 100,000 per fundraising project. But now, under the budget, the government will partner with TB to provide a dollar-for-dollar matching, capped at $250,000 per charity. And if, as a charity, you have used up this cap, TB will continue to provide you with the current 40% matching. The last section is really about creating, upskilling and reskilling employees and creating new jobs. So firstly, on SGUnited jobs, this is the aim is to create more than 40,000 jobs, of which 15,000 openings will be in the public sector. And in the public sector, this will provide 2-year positions to local job seekers and train them in the key capability areas so that we can eventually place them in relevant private sector jobs. And then also there is the traineeships where WSG co-funds 80% of the qualifying training allowances. And this program aims to create up to 21,000 traineeships for local first-time job seekers and up to 4,000 traineeships for local mid-career job seekers. Then we also have the SGUnited, SGUS program. So this is a full training program ranging from 6 to 12 months, and trainees will have the chance to apply the skills that they have learned during the program through opportunities like workplace immersions and industry projects. And they will also receive a training allowance of 1,200. Individuals can also use their SkillsFuture credit to offset the course fees. So this really helps to create, you know, if you are someone, or you have employees who are at the risk of, you know, losing their jobs, this is a very good program for them to learn new skills and to prepare them for something where they plan to go to after the program is over. So really it basically trains them for a new skill and so that they can continue to remain employed when everything settles down. So also, I also want to remind everybody about the SkillsFuture Enterprise credit, which I've mentioned earlier in some of my previous recordings. So there is, if you all remember, the government has provided a one-off $10,000 payment as SkillsFuture credit for all employers, so that they can cover up to 90% of their out-of-pocket expenses. And this can be used on top of other existing support grants. So this is definitely a very good platform that you can use and program that you can utilize so that you can train your employees if you are a business, and of course individuals can also use their SkillsFuture credit to offset any of the cost fees they take during this period. Lastly is the enhanced hiring incentive. So again, this is really to encourage companies to reskill their workers and to retain them. So previously it was only applicable for workers aged 40 and above. Now it has been enhanced to include all workers. So if you have a worker that is age 40 and above, you will receive 40% salary support for 6 months, capped at $12,000 in total. And if they are 40 years and below, you will receive 20% salary support for 6 months, capped at $6,000 in total. So if you look at the budget, Fortitude budget, really the key is to encourage employers to embrace digitization, and also to continue to think of ways to get your employees to go learn new skills, retrain themselves so that they can they can easily continue to keep themselves employed, and also be gainfully employed as well. So really, that's all I have on the Fortitude budget, and I want to thank everybody for listening into this recording. So I just want to let everybody know as well that RSM has developed our own COVID-19 survival DIY toolkit, which is available on our website. So if you do need help, please go ahead and go to our link and get some information from there. And of course, if you have any questions, feel free to contact us, and we will do our best to help you in any ways we can. So that's the end of what I have. I hope everybody continue to stay safe and stay healthy. Thank you.